Lionel Messi's Argentina finally broke a 28-year-old trophy drought and sealed the victory against a Neymar-led Brazil in Copa America Final 2021. This means a lot to Leo, who has achieved his dream of winning a senior international trophy with Argentina. Having failed to do so in 2007, 2015 and 2016, the Argentine finally gets the taste of a Copa glory in 2021. Brazil had never been defeated in a Copa final held in Brazil in the last 46 years. This record was broken with Di Maria's solitary strike sealing the victory for Argentina. A major senior trophy with his country is all that Messi was lacking, considering the illustrious career he had with Barcelona. With this result, the Argentinian has etched his name into the fabric of time. Now, before we move on to the tactical analysis, do consider subscribing and quickly slapping that like button if you're new around here. With that being said, let's move forward. Scaloni's men lined up in a 4-4-2 with Messi and Lautaro Martinez at top. On the other hand, the Brazil lined up in a 4-2-3-1 with no change in the starting 11 from their win over Peru. Brazil saw just under 60% of possession in this match, so Argentina had the majority of defensive work. But they did it incredibly well with an impeccable plan out of possession that was executed brilliantly in their 4-4-2 shape. Against goal kick, their primary objective was to restrict Brazil from progressing centrally, which is why the front two looked to cover shadow Brazil's midfield pivot. As soon as Ederson kicked the ball out playing from the back, Messi and Lautaro would look to cover the passing lanes to Fred and Casemiro, who were the two holding pivots for Brazil. In that way, they took out every option left with the Brazilian national team to progress the ball through the midfield. As Brazil got further forward, their build-up shape changed, with Renan Lodi free to get forward and Fred taking up his place on the left. Now, Angel Di Maria did not track Lodi. Instead, he stayed close to Fred while Giovanni Lo Celso did the same to Danilo on the other side, leaving the front to sit once again, blocking off the central areas. This was quite a pragmatist idea from Lionel Scaloni. It could have gone wrong, but Brazil couldn't capitalize on it. With Fred moving out wide in this manner, the Selecao's midfield was left very thin, but it did also create a fair amount of space in that region. And to exploit it, the first and the most obvious way was to progress through the only central midfielder Casemiro, who would push slightly forward to open up passing angles for the backline. Argentina had a rather simple solution to it: send Lautaro Martinez back to man mark Casemiro. The other manner in which Brazil looked to exploit the space was through Neymar and Lucas Paqueta, who occupied either of the half space. This is where Rodrigo De Paul and Leandro Paredes had a major job to do, as they had to mark the two Brazilian dangermen. The anti-Neymar tactic was quite simple: swarm him whenever he got the ball, and if necessary, bring him down. Throw men on him, bring him down, foul him, do whatever it takes to bring Neymar to a stop. Which is why 4 of Argentina's 5 yellow cards came from fouls on Neymar. The final option for Brazil was to go long, but the visitors maintained a fairly low, solid defensive block and had Christian Romero and Nicolas Otamendi, both of whom had great performances in central defense, so aerial balls would not have worked well at all. De Paul had a great game in possession as he set up the only goal and was very often the only man to take Argentina out of their own half. But he was arguably the most important player in defense as well, as his role involved shuttling across to meet the advancing Renan Lodi, while Nahuel Molina looked to mark and stop Neymar Jr. This sort of switch of defensive responsibility could have proved disastrous had it gone wrong, but Brazil did not really probe it enough and held up alright on few occasions it was called into question. The Selecao was restricted to just 2 shots on target thanks to Argentina's solid defensive approach, and on both occasions Emiliano Martinez delivered the goods to preserve the clean sheet. Emiliano Martinez has been so good in this entire tournament. Earlier on, we couldn't have hoped for a better goalkeeper than him. We had Franco Armani as our first choice goalkeeper. Imagine the upgrade we had. He was decisive in this Copa win for Argentina. Now, talking about Brazil's costly lapse. Apart from the goal, Argentina posed a very minute threat to Brazil's defense, with just 5 shots, 2 of which were blocked and 3 of which were from outside the box. It was just one mistake on the host's part that costed them the trophy, so it was quite a big one. It all started with Neymar getting surrounded by 3 opponents and losing the ball, which is not something he should be blamed for. Brazil too were defending in a 4-4-2 with the objective of denying central progression, but their defensive line was relatively high. They were maintaining a high line compared to the Argentina's low solid defensive block. This meant that they would also need to apply some amount of pressure on the man in possession to prevent him from having the time to pick a long ball. But that was not the case with Brazil. Rather, it was the opposite of what Neymar was doing here, as he trundled for about 13 seconds and let De Paul have all the space to him to pick out that pass to Angel Di Maria. Lodi's defending wasn't excusable either, and just as we have seen on numerous occasions in the past, including the UEFA Champions League final, Ederson got caught in a no man's land in a one-on-one position, allowing Di Maria to chip him with ease. So in conclusion, this match was a testament of the fact that a tactically astute international manager who's not that proven, who necessarily does not play a really beautiful football, can prove to be just as important as a host of star players. Brazil had more quality on the pitch, but Scaloni's smart tactical decision and Tite's failure to adapt or find a solution proved to be the difference. Situationally, one bit of laziness from Neymar and subsequent errors from a couple of his teammates proved costly. While Argentina defended in unison, there was real cohesion, there was a real sense of unity throughout the match, with even Messi attempting 5 tackles. So football is a sport of fine margin, and this was the difference over here.